Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone in Holistic Nutrition Coach Week, or excuse me, Coach Day, Coach Week, because it's kind of like a week leading up to it. So I'm getting really excited about it. My name is Amanda Quinn. I'm one of the co-founders of Fit Chicks Academy, and you've probably been seeing me in some of the comments, in some of the posts, and then also you're going to see me on Coach Day on February 24th. 11 a.m. EST. If you haven't put it in your calendar yet, put it in now. You want to show up. You do not want to miss out on that day. But I'm going to be behind the scenes all day and then also doing a lot of facilitation with you all. But today I am super honored, super excited because I get to bring with me some of my favorite people that are joining me to have a roundtable discussion. And we are talking openly, authentically about their experience within the academy, their experience becoming a coach, their experience now as being a coach. So I just want to start off by saying thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you, everyone in Facebook who is checking out this live stream right now. And I just want to introduce each of you. So first of all, we have Carmelita, you are joining me, Shannon White, and then also we have Eloise. All three of these incredible humans are graduates of our academy. They are now out in the world spreading that healthy love. And I'm going to give everyone sort of an opportunity to just share about their experiences. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to just be asking some questions. I'll direct it to each person and then just have you kind of share your insights and your thoughts. So, but first of all, just welcome to all of you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So, I just want to start off if each of you can kind of just give us a short like overview of who you are and what you do right now and as a coach. So I'm going to start off, Carmelita, I'm going to start with you because of the way you're showing up in my screen. I'm going to go clockwise. And so Carmelita, can you share a little bit more just about who you are and what it is that you currently are doing as a coach?
Absolutely, Amanda. Thank you so much for having me. I am Carmelita Rogers. I call myself a fitness and nutrition coach because of the certifications that I have gotten here, certifications from Fit Chicks Academy. I've had a wonderful experience with all the learning. And so currently it's been about 2 years and since I've graduated, and it's been 1 year since I started my fitness business. It's called Bold and Fit Fitness and Nutrition. I started last year with online boot camps, and so I'm continuing that into this year and adding some in-person personal training and in-person boot camps in the Dallas, Texas area.
I love that. I love that so much. And Shannon, can you share a little bit more about who you are and what it is that you are currently doing?
Sure. Yes, my name is Shannon White. I'm also in the Dallas, Texas area. So hi, Carmelita. I'm originally
All
from,
our Texans.
yeah, I'm originally from New Jersey. We moved here about 7 years ago. So by trade, I'm a mental health therapist I was also doing mindset coaching as well. Which led me into the population that I work with is pretty much busy women, female leaders, and entrepreneurs who really don't find enough time to take care of themselves. And so Reignite was birthed from that. I do have a private mental health therapy practice, and in doing the work, what I realized is that a lot of these women were struggling with their nutrition and their health. They were struggling with anxiety and depression and different things like that. And because they weren't necessarily taking care of their nutrition, hormonal balance was off. That is what led me into the Fit Chicks Academy to kind of seek more about nutrition. I was already personal trainer. I had gone through a different program for my personal training certification. And then found Fit Chicks. I don't even know how I came across it, but was super interested in how to add the nutrition component to it. And it just kind of flourished from there. So I just have a different way of looking more holistically at my mental health patients. And it kind of expanded now into fitness and nutrition as well. So it's been a great ride. I got the certification. I guess it's been almost a year now.
Mhm.
That I think, yeah, I think it's been almost a year, and working on doing some in-person boot camps in the area that I am in now, as well as I've already been doing online group training classes and online coaching for nutrition as well.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much and welcome. And Eloise, can you share a little bit more about you and sort of your background and or not background, excuse me, but what it is that you're doing right now as well?
Sure. Okay. So I'm Eloise Heather, and I help women really to end the struggle with the bathroom skills, so that they kind of feel more empowered to revitalize their own health and to embrace the truth that they're actually good enough as they are already. And I started out as an accredited master coach and was working with sensitive women in embracing their sensitivity. And while doing that, I was on my own weight loss journey, and people were asking me how I was doing it. So I started kind of shifting into that area, helping them to lose the weight. And really, I wanted to kind of formalize the knowledge that I had. So I was looking around for a qualification and I came across Fit Chicks, and then I took the holistic weight loss coach course and really haven't looked back. So now that's primarily what I'm doing, and I work one-to-one. I'm hoping to branch out into group at some point in the next year or so, but at the moment, really, I'm working on a book that's the primary idea is that our relationship with food actually reflects the relationship that we each have with ourselves. So I'm really excited about that too.
Oh, that's beautiful. Congratulations. That's exciting. That sounds like a great book too, and a very necessary one, I would think. Because it's so true. Everything that we attribute a lot of like, well, food is so attributed to emotions and is so attributed to our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, like everything is connected, right? And so when we think about it from that lens,
Absolutely.
what we nourish ourselves with has a lot to do with how we think and what we feel about ourselves and what we're feeling about a journey or a decision in the day. I'm sure Shannon, you could probably talk a lot more about that too, since you are an expert in that field, less than me. I mean, much more than me. I was going to say I'm much less than an expert in that field than you would be as a mental health expert. But um, no, I would love to hear a little bit more about sort of each of you in terms of like your journey in deciding, when you decided to get started with Fit Chicks Academy and you decided like, okay, this is going to be the path I'm going to take. Cause I know like you were already sort of, some of you doing coaching. I don't know, Carmelita, were you also coaching prior to taking your certification? So you were brand new to the industry.
I was brand new. I spent 20 years in the public education system.
Awesome. No, that's perfect. And so it's cool, right? Because it's like all different backgrounds and all different journeys and all different pathways, but they all lead to like the same thing. But did any of you have any fears about either getting started as a coach, and even if you could think back to even before you got started as a coach, or any fears with taking the step to even sign up with Fit Chicks Academy to go this route? Like, did you have any fears that came up for you? And if so, what were they? And how did you decide to like push past it? Because I think that that's a really important thing. I know that a lot of people who are interested in getting certified or getting interested in coaching, they're aspiring coaches, they oftentimes have their own fears that are kind of coming up. And it's usually like an internal dialogue thing that's coming up that's thinking, they're thinking, what if I'm not successful? What if I can't do this? I know my thoughts when I first started coaching back in 2008 was, which is like, 100 years ago. But when I first started, it was like, I still remember, I kept thinking, oh my gosh, what if I suck at this and nobody likes what I do? What if I'm really, really bad and then they never show up again? And then what? Right. And that was always the like thought that kept replaying in my brain. But I'm curious to know if any of you had any of those thoughts, and if you did, how you got past it. So I'll start again. I'll just start with Carmelita and then we'll work our way around if that's cool.
Yes. So, um, in making the decision, I would say that there were some fears only because it wasn't something that I was used to doing. And so the
Hmm.
fear was, well, I don't really know what I'm doing. Who's going to listen to me? They're not going to look at me as knowing what I'm doing. And so what helped me get over it, number one, even though I was in a different field, I always had an interest. I was always interested in being fit was the most part, but then learning about the connection with nutrition. And so in my mind, I said, well, you know what? If nothing else, I'll just take this course so that I can get the information for myself.
I
Mhm.
love that.
So that's how I overcame it. But man, oh man, did I learn and got some confidence because I was like, oh, I know what I'm talking about.
I love that you say that though, because it's so true, right? Like sometimes you just do it for yourself first. And I know even my first certification, I don't know if any of you knew this, but my very first certification I ever took was my yoga certification. And I did it with no intention of ever teaching anyone. And I've actually never really taught yoga. So I have multiple yoga certifications and stuff that not a lot of people know about, but I don't teach yoga. I teach it at our retreats when we do weekend health retreats. But other than that, I've never taught in a studio. I've never taught it to anyone. I've taught it to some friends in my living room, and that's about it. And it's like, but it was like a personal journey for me, but it ignited something in me that made me think like, oh, I really like helping people. I like when my friends come over and I'm teaching them in my living room, right? It makes like the way that they come in versus the way that they leave is so cool that I want to keep doing this in a different capacity. And then it kind of grew into this idea of, Laura and I creating Fit Chicks. But so it's kind of the same thing in the way for you, right, Carmelita? Like where you were like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but then it just kind of sparked something in you.
Mhm.
Absolutely. It absolutely sparked because as I was learning, I was like, oh no, everybody needs to know this.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of stuff that you may know bits and pieces, but just like how you were all with Eloise, how there's a connection between so much, we really don't realize that connection. So just learning it, after that, I was like, oh no, I've got to teach other people this.
I love that. And now, Shannon, for you, I know it's a little bit probably different just because you had this like you saw this need and this fit between the two because you saw that this was like this missing link almost. Would you say that?
Yes, but I was still scared.
Are
So
you?
I was
Interesting.
because and I'm sorry, my dog decided he wants to leave right now.
He's joining the conversation. That's cool.
It was interesting though, because, mental health therapy has been something I've done for over 20 years. So that came natural for me. It's my thing. It's what I know how to do with my eyes closed, right?
Yeah.
But when in coaching as well, mindset coaching, because a lot of what you do with mindset coaching is very much attached to what I was doing with mental health therapy.
Of
So
course.
when I started my own fitness journey back in 2018, I lost 30 pounds, that I didn't even know how I had got 30 pounds, more than I was. And I started working out with some of my friends, right? And they started saying, you're good at this. Like you should consider teaching other people. And I'm like, I can't, this is just what I loved. I started to grow a liking for working out. But what I realized is a lot of the things that I was still struggling with had to do with nutrition. And that wasn't just, I couldn't get the six pack. It had also to do with, I was entering into my mid 40s at that point. I was foggy. I was having a foggy brain, and not that I'm at menopause yet or perimenopausal, but I started seeing things started to shift in my
Yeah.
body. And I realized that I needed to learn the nutrition piece. And I had taken a course for mental health around anxiety and depression and what kind of foods you could utilize. So I've been certified in that, but it was a matter of how do I bring all of these things together to create a more holistic approach for my clients? But it started with me, just kind of like what
Yeah.
Carmelita said, like I really wanted to learn the things for myself. And I realized this could really be a market for me. It could build my business. Not only could it build my business, but it could also help my clients to see past just, it's not just mental health that you need to fix. It's your gut health
Mhm.
that you need to fix. It is, are you active enough that you need to, like, so all of those things, that holistic approach is really what caused it all to come together for me and make sense. But I was nervous because I was like, I don't know who's going to listen to what I have to say. I don't know what if someone asks me a question and I can't answer them, because that's not my primary thing. But the
Mhm.
more I do it, the more I'm learning, the more that I'm applying it to, what I'm doing every day. And the more I apply it in my own life, the easier it becomes to discuss it with other people and the more
Yeah.
confident that I've become. So I guess
Of
my
course.
advice to people who are thinking about this is you don't have to feel like you need to go into this knowing everything. No one in this field knows everything. We're always constantly learning, and you have to be at a place where you're willing to constantly learn. And that is something that my own mental chatter, my self-limiting beliefs was hindering me from understanding that I don't have to have every answer. There's some things that people ask me that'll draw me to a different answer, or that'll draw me
Mhm.
to the answer. And it's okay to say, you know what, let me get back to you on that, and be perfectly fine with it. And most of your clients will respect the fact that you are real with them in that way, I think.
Mhm.
Um, so that's my advice. Don't let not knowing, or this not being your primary kind of skill or expertise stop you from moving into something new.
No, and I love that because I was actually going to ask the question, what is it that you say to your clients when, because that comes up a lot. People think, well, what do I say if someone asks me something and I don't know the answer? But it's like exactly like you said, it's like, that's not my primary expertise. Let me look into that though, because I will find the answer for you. I will research it for you. I'll do the work for you as your coach, and I'll support you on this journey, and I'll find the right answer. And if I don't know the right answer, or if it's outside of my scope of practice, usually what I also do is I recommend something. Like I'll do research on like something I would recommend, like if it was something to do with mental health or something, where I would be like, okay, here's some like recommendations for other coaches or therapists that specialize in that area. If that's not my expertise, right? If it's tied into the journey that they're on, or if it's something to do with, I don't know, let's say pregnancy or something, like anything to do with like health or wellness that might be outside of my scope, I can still support my clients, but support them in a way of giving a reference as well outside of my own scope of practice, which I think is really, it's a powerful thing to do for your clients because it's giving them the confidence to be able to move forward in that way as well.
Absolutely.
hmm And so then, Eloise, what about you? Did you have any fears getting into coaching, getting into this world?
Yeah, so for coaching specifically, that I kind of felt like I was born to coach. It's something that I've been doing for quite a while as well. But in terms of doing the Fit Chicks course, I was actually really scared because I went through some trauma that affected my health physically, and I had this really big fear that my health needed to be perfect in order to be able to help other people. I thought that if I was to kind of like go out there and not have perfect health, they wouldn't trust me, and they'd be like, who are you to do it? And then I picked up on that. I was like, okay, then listen to yourself. What are you telling yourself here? And what's the truth here? Well, actually the truth is that these people are going to be more interested in hearing from somebody who's open and honest about what their health is doing, and how they're navigating through that journey. Then they wouldn't be able to relate to somebody who was painting their life as perfect and their health as perfect. So it's actually a benefit rather than a disadvantage.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love it so much. And I see everyone sort of nodding their heads. Did you find the same thing for yourself, Shannon and
I did,
Carmelita?
and
Like, yeah.
more so for the fitness component, because I remember saying to someone, sometimes I was expressing myself limitedly. Said that this was kind of like 2 years ago or so, and I said, I feel like I can't really uh coach people individually, or not coach people, but train people, because I don't have the six pack yet. I'm not there yet. And they were like, no, but your reality, like you make me feel like, okay, there's a potential for me to at least get, to get to where you are, because I look at some of these people on Instagram and stuff, and I'm like, that's impossible, right? So
Mhm.
it helps people to see that you being in shape or you getting fit is possible. And like, you don't have to, like, you're not going to overnight wake up and have the people that you, half of them aren't real anyway, like the things that you see on Instagram, right,
Right.
as the model of fitness, that doesn't make you fit all the time.
hmm
And so it
hmm
just created a more real expectation for a lot of people when they can see that you're a real human, right?
hmm
You have some of the same issues that they have. I think that makes it, I guess, it makes it easier, I guess, for you to really reach your audience too.
No, I agree. I agree. And Carmelita, you had the same sort of feeling as well?
Sorry about that, y'all.
No, you're fine.
Yes, just the same thing of, oh, I don't have this certain look, or man, I used to be more muscular or look a certain way than I do now. But just like Shannon said, and Eloise as well, as you when you're getting over that, when people see, now there are some people out there who are looking for a look and they're gonna go for
Of
those people.
course.
And what
And
I've
that's true.
Right. So what I had to learn and work through was that that's fine. And not everybody is going to be someone that I don't have to work with everyone, and not everyone is going to be for me. And it's okay. So I had to kind of just work through that. And like you said, Shannon and Eloise, it can be an inspiration to some other people. Like, hey, you know what? I see she's got some bloating going on too. And she's talking about how she's working through that. I do too. So now maybe, you know what? So yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's so, no, and that's such a great point. Thank you, Eloise, for sharing that because I think it brought up such a great conversation piece of like, the idea that we all feel like we have to be at like our end result to be able to coach people powerfully. And the truth is that we don't at all. I feel like you'll never be at this like quote unquote like end result that you really desire. Like I feel like for me, I've been training and trying to like, well, when I was younger, I did all like the fad diets and I did all the different workout programs and I was always searching outside of myself for the answers, right? And then I learned that it was like I had to do the work internally and I had to shift the way I saw my health to be able to make this a long-term approach, which is one of the most important things I think in someone's health journey. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But I think it's like, because once you shift the way that you see health and wellness, and once you shift your habits and your mindset around it, then it becomes a lot more effortless because it's still the work. You still have to put in the work, but it's like easier because you're not trying to like force something. You're not trying to like be like, I'm going to eat low carb or I'm going to eat this fad diet or I'm going to do this for the rest of my life because it's like it's just not sustainable. But when you shift, you can do something that's sustainable. And so I found for me, that was my biggest thing. And then realizing that like just being really honest and open about like my own journey, my ups and downs and everything else, it allowed for me to really attract the people that felt the same way. And when I was like training like in fitness as well, it was like I had people in my class that were faster, stronger, and like more powerful than me. And it was cool. Like as long as you know how to coach someone on their journey towards their goal and you know how to do this in an educated manner that's going to keep them healthy, that's going to keep them safe, and it's going to teach them the tools they want for their journey, I think that that's actually the role of being like a coach. It's not about you. And that's what I always tell people. It's like, it's not about me. It's about you. Like as my client, it's about you and your journey. So it doesn't like if you want a six pack, I can help you get there, but that's not my desire. Or if this is your desire, I can help you get there because I have the tools and the education, but that's maybe not necessarily my journey. And that's okay. We can have different journeys as long as I have the skills to help you on yours. Does that make sense?
You know what made me kind of shift the way I saw that whole thing was that I started to realize that while it would be nice to get the six pack, right? While that would be nice, that was not my main goal in fitness or nutrition. My main goal was to live. And when I kind of got that concept that I just want to live because there's so many other things in this life that I need to be able to carry out. There's so many other things that I'm called for and people who are waiting on me to carry those things out. It started to shift how I saw fitness and nutrition. And so that is one of the things that I always work with my clients on. What is your motive? Right? If I could get them to understand that the six pack will come once you learn the nutrition, the six pack will come, or maybe it won't, right? But you'll be at a place that you never thought you could be once you can shift the reason why you're doing this. What is your why? And so when I started realizing that, no, I don't have to work out, I get to work out, and I get to live because of the choices that I make. And then the other things come as a byproduct of my obedience to the process. That's when things started to shift for me. And when I started to be more confident in my ability to coach others to help them to believe that it was possible for them also.
I love that. That's beautifully said. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's so great. Now, shifting gears slightly. So I just want to talk a little bit more about, okay, so you had your fears, you jumped in and you decided, I'm just going to do this anyways. So then what was your experience like? Because I know, again, sometimes people have a fear of like, if I join the Fit Chicks Academy, is it going to be a good experience? Is it going to be a program that is going to actually teach me skills and tools that I'm going to use with clients? Is it a good quality program? These are the kind of the questions, especially when it comes to online, because I don't know if anyone here live with me right now has ever been scammed online, but I have. Right? I feel like almost everyone has had some sort of a weird experience where you buy the dress and it comes and it's like made out of styrofoam or something weird, right? Like there's always like this weird bait and switch that happens online. Well, and so I always like people to just share like what was your true experience going through the Fit Chicks Academy Holistic Nutrition Weight Loss Coaching certification. So Carmelita, I'll start with you and then just go around again.
Honestly, Amanda and everyone, I really had a great experience. I don't remember having any thoughts of, oh, is this going to, well, I probably did have thoughts of, is this going to be a quality program or what is it going to be? But I tell you, the video quality was, and not And I'm not talking about like the lights and glitz. That wasn't, but just the quality of the content in the videos, in the programs is top notch. And that for me was just a great experience, even being able to go back now just to refresh and get some, because it was a lot of information. And I am typically, I don't think I'm a great online learner. However, the way that it was presented from each of the instructors, it was easy to follow, easy to grasp the outlines. There was notes to go with everything, links to get some more information. It was just all laid out right there. And so I felt like even though it was self-paced, even though it was online, there were lots of resources. It was even available, even though I wasn't able to attend the question and answer sessions, I was still able to go back and listen to them. So there was support even from the instructors in that way. So I have nothing but positive to say, because my experience was positive all the
Thank
way.
you. Thank you. And it makes me so happy to know that. And Shannon, how about you? Because I know you
I think
coming from an education background.
what
Mhm.
really drew me to you guys is, first of all, you spoke to my heart. Like it was the interest when I don't remember how I probably found you on Instagram or something. I don't know, but
Probably just some ad. Yeah.
some kind of ad or something.
Mhm.
But I am the type of person that I listen very intently for whether something kind of aligns with what I'm doing or what I'm thinking about doing. And so I first started kind of just getting all the free information that you were giving out.
Mhm.
And when I realized that not only did your philosophy align with what I was looking for and the way I kind of felt about nutrition, even though I didn't have a lot of knowledge at that time, that was what kind of drew me to you. So I didn't have a fear that it wouldn't be a quality program, but I had no clue how awesome it would be. I just kind of figured it would be, what I needed. When I tell you that, and this is not, again, anyone who's listening, we're not paid advertisers. This is just the
No.
truth of my heart. I got more from this program, and I'm not going to say who I got my other certifications through, than I got from another well-known company that I got my personal training and nutritionist certification from. I learned, it hit my learning style. I'm not, again, like Carmelita said, I'm not a great online, my attention span, the way it's set up. Online learning is, I need that one-to-one kind of interaction. So the fact that you incorporated the self-paced program as well as the live accountability calls, or not the calls that we
The
do,
application calls. Yep.
application calls,
Mhm.
and the video information is really what helped me to zone in and be able to take that information, and also the assignments, because a lot of these classes you don't really have real life application of what you have to do. And sometimes I would be like, oh, I don't feel like doing this, right? But without it, I would not know what I know right now. The way you
I love
simplify
that.
things too,
Mhm.
that was the other thing. Like you took very hard and difficult concepts and made it simple for enough for me to understand so that I could be able to explain it to other people. I don't want to give any information away, but that complete in 3 rule changed my life.
The complete in 3,
Something
we
as simple
literally,
as that.
we preach that from rooftops day and
Yeah,
night, because
me too.
it is the easiest concept for clients to take in, for you to use,
Yeah.
and like to explain to clients. Like it's such an easy concept, and it's like it's easy to remember, right? It's complete in
Mhm.
3. You eat in the complete in 3 way, you're gonna be good. You're gonna have a balanced meal every time, every time.
And if you
Yeah,
could
I love
simplify
that.
that, if the way you guys taught us is the way it taught us to coach other people.
Correct.
So
Correct. Yeah.
I had
Well, and
nothing
this
but a
is
great experience. It was worth every dime. Um, I will preach from the rooftops. If you want to get a certification in holistic weight loss coaching, or just to learn it for yourself, this is the program that you want to go to.
Thank
Seriously.
you. I appreciate that. And I love that you say that like the assignments really help, because one thing that I find with a lot of programs, I don't know if anyone else has ever had this experience, but you go to school, you do these like assignments or things, and you feel like everything is like a make work project. And so one of the things that when we were building out our certifications, we said, how can we ensure that every single piece of it is applicable. Like it's like you learn the information, then you apply it so you know how to do it. So you know how to do this in real life scenarios. Because that was like a really important step for us because we didn't want to just be like making you do something just to do it. We wanted you to do it because then we want you to know, oh yeah, I do know how to calculate your macros. Oh, I do know how to figure out your blood sugar issues and things like that. Like I want you to understand how to do it. So the only way to do it is by actually when you do something, you understand it from such a deep rooted
Yep.
level, I believe, right? Versus just understanding it in theory. So I'm glad that you share that because I think it is such an important piece of the program, even on the days when you're like, I really don't want to do it. Because those
Mhm.
days are going to come up, but you got to do it.
Yep.
And then Eloise, what about you? What was your experience? How did you feel throughout the program itself?
Okay, well, I actually started out with the short course on overeating. That was kind of
Yeah.
my gateway into it, and I took that because I wanted to learn more about know it from a different angle besides my personal experience of having an eating disorder. I wanted to learn about that for my clients, and then I was just so blown away with how much was packed into that short course that I thought, well, if that's what's in that, then what's going to be in store behind this door? So I kind of just set my sights on it, and I was like, right, okay, I'm going to do this. And I have neurodivergent traits, and I found that the course was very, very accessible. Just to kind of build on what Carmelita and Shannon were saying, really about how much was packed into everything, but it didn't feel overwhelming because you could go back and revisit stuff if you needed to. And yes, the principles that are explained in there are just, they're explained in a way that it's like you've explained it to us as though we're toddlers, not in a patronizing way, but in a way that we can, process it without overwhelming us with all the science and that kind of thing, so that we can then do the same thing for others. And it's like transferring that knowledge, passing it on. And really, there was just so much. I mean, like Carmelita said, I still go back to the modules and revisit them just as refreshers and stuff because they're just fantastic. They're really, really good. So yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, I love that. And I love that all of you had such a great experience. And like Shannon said, you are not paid. This is all coming straight
Yep.
from an authentic place of just really just sharing your experience, right? And we just love hearing from our grads and hearing what it is that they're doing now. And we really like to stay connected and stay a part of your journey even once you complete the program. So with
Also,
that being
too,
said,
I
sorry,
wanted to
yes,
add
please go ahead.
the fact that we walked away from this program with done for you uh coaching, products and um
The program itself.
yeah, the programs. I think that that was amazing too, because it allowed you to kind of, okay, I'm done now and I can relax, but I could also just put something out there that I know is quality, that I just need to kind of add my own twist to. And so I also really, really value that as well, that I walked away with a done for you program as well,
Mhm.
experience.
Well, yeah, I mean, we did that because we thought when we look back at our journey, right? When we started Fit Chicks way back in 2008, like Laura and I didn't have, like when we started our company, we didn't have loans, we didn't have investors, we didn't have money to hire business coaches, we didn't have money to hire graphic designers or anything. We built everything from like we bootstrapped it all. We built all of our programs in like Excel spreadsheets and sent them out and they were like janky and they looked terrible and we didn't know how to design anything. And when we look back at that, while we were building our certifications, we were like, what would help you fast track when you graduate? Like, what are the things that we wished we could have had? And that's what we wanted to give you. We want to give you the things that were like, here's done for you programs that are proven models. Here's templates that are designed by our graphic designer now that we hire that does beautiful work so that you have things that allow for you to just hit the ground running and also have materials that, you can put your logo on, you can use it as your own, but it's like, it's all designed for you so that you don't have to sit there and go, number one, what do I need? And number two, how do I do it? Right? Because those are like the things that you sit there and you're like, oh my gosh, it takes so much time and energy. And trying to perfect a program and build a program, like it takes a while. Like we've done so many trial and errors on programs until it was like 6, 8 months later till we were like, okay, now that makes sense, right? You have to try it over and over and over again. So then giving you proven models just allows for you to basically take it and be like, okay, we know that this flows. We know that this works. We know that these email sequencing works. We know that all of these materials made sense in our business because they generated us a lot of revenue and they helped our clients get the results that they want. So then here you go. because it's just, it's like our gift to our grads essentially is what they are. They're like our gifts to saying, here's our life's work. Here you go. Here, let us help you be able to be successful a lot faster than we were able to. I think it's a nice, it's a good feeling for us to be able to have that, to be able to gift to you.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah. So I would love to now hear just a little bit more about each of you and like what it is. I know you shared a little bit at the beginning of what it is that you're doing now, but not only what you're doing, but why you're doing it. Like, what is the why? Like, what is the thing that really is like pushing you? Because I think, again, what you were saying, even Shannon earlier, like when working with your clients, understanding their why is so important. Understanding why you're doing what you're doing too. Like, I know that's the thing that gets you to wake up every day, to feel excited about what you're doing, to want to continue learning, to want to continue growing, to want to continue to help clients, to post on social, to do whatever it is that you have to do as a business owner to be able to bring them in. So I'd love to hear from each of you what your why is, what it is that you're doing, and then also just how people can learn a little bit more about you if they want to reach out to you, just so you can just sort of mention your socials. And then also for everybody watching right now or watching the replay after, you can check all of their socials and everything will be in the comments below here. So you can also follow them as well. So you can check it out there as well. But Carmelita, I would love to start with you, and then we're just going to go around again. So if you can share sort of a little bit more about that, that'd be amazing.
Absolutely. So, why am I doing what I'm doing? Like I said earlier, once I learned this information and I started even applying it for myself, especially like Shannon pointed out, that completing three, that's a game changer. But once I really started incorporating that in the other things and saw, again, it wasn't even the focus was more off of the number on the scale, it was more off of a certain look, but really just how am I feeling? And this is what health really is. And so from there, I was like, other people need to know this. I see people struggling with chronic diseases, with just being tired, with so many different all these different things. And it's like that can be helped. That can be, with certain things. And so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And Bold and Fit, actually, faith is an important part of it. As a woman in faith, I believe that God needs to be involved in every aspect of our lives. And another reason for the why is because I view our bodies as temples of God. And so, in order for us to do what it is that we're supposed to do on this earth, then we have to take care of this temple. And so when it's healthy, then we can do what we're supposed to do, and then that's going to help others be what they're supposed to do. So Bold, actually, it does. So Bold and Fit, fitness and nutrition. Bold does stand for being bold and confident in what you're doing, but it's also an acronym: bless other lives daily. And Fit is faithfully investing in the temple. So we can bless other lives daily and faithfully invest in our temple. And when we do all of that, then we're able to be confident and show up who we are, and then help others and be a blessing to them so that they can live healthier lives. And so my goal is that the cycle will just continue and continue in whatever aspect that looks like for each individual that I work with.
Oh my God, that's so beautiful. I love that. I love the acronym. I love the name. I love the story behind it. Thank you. That's amazing.
Problem.
And then how people can learn a little bit more about you. Your social is at Bold and Fit.
At Bold and Fit, and Fit has two T's, FITT, on Instagram and TikTok, and then on Facebook it's Bold and Fit Fitness and Nutrition, and also www.boldandfit.com.
Amazing. And like I said, for everyone, it will be in the comments as well, so you can check it out there too. Thank you so much, Carmelita. That's amazing. I love that. And so Shannon, what is your why? I kind of know your why, I think, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about it for sure.
I think I think that what happened for me is that I started wanting to expand beyond just working with individuals. And even though I had kind of started that with some other coaching programs I was doing, what I realized is a lot of people's mental health issues stem from underlying issues dealing with health and wellness. And like Carmelita, I also am a woman of faith and incorporate that within my practice as well. And just realize that holistically we have to be healed. It can't just be your mental health. It's every part: spiritual, physical, mental health. So because of the types of clients that I was getting into my private therapy practice, and just realizing that they were not taking care of their bodies, and that is why they were having a lot of the anxiety. That is why they were dealing with the brain fog. That is why they couldn't concentrate at work. And they were looking at it like, well, it was turning into things like imposter syndrome and different things. But if you just will focus and zone in on this thing, what it did for me is it made me realize that while I'm going to have this still boutique therapy practice, I really wanted to expand my business. I have this vision of a wellness company where everything is under one roof eventually, right?
Mhm.
And they could come and they could get treated if they need fitness advice or if they need a massage therapist or whatever, a holistic approach to all of their wellness needs. But what it really made me want to do is expand that fitness and nutrition piece. So I want to empower busy moms and female leaders and entrepreneurs to really achieve that holistic balance in their mental, physical, and spiritual and hormonal health through fitness and nutrition and mindset shifting, which is how everything kind of comes together for me. And to get sustainable results. I think that's the other piece of it, is that we do this thing for a little while, we work out for a little while, we eat right for a little while, but we don't realize how to make it sustainable. I think that's why Complete in 3 makes it so awesome, is that it teaches you how to keep it sustainable or make it sustainable. And again, like I kind of mentioned earlier, I just am of the belief that, there is a particular group of people who are assigned specifically to each and everyone on this call and everyone who's listening to our individual callings. And so if we don't do what we need to do to take care of ourselves, then they won't be able to reach their full potential and their optimal capacity because we're not kind of operating in our own. And it's like Carmelita said, it's a chain reaction after that. So in order for all of that to happen, holistically, you have to be whole. And so that is kind of my why, is to really help women all across the world, not just here in Dallas, Fort Worth, but why I want to do it online is really because I really want women to be healed everywhere and to see that it's possible.
I love that. And how can people learn a little bit more about what it is that you're doing, Shannon?
So I am on Instagram at Freckles414. That's kind of where it started. I just never changed it. And I am also on Facebook at Reignite Fitness and Nutrition. Now, if they're looking for the mental health part, then that's Shannon White _life coach on Instagram. But I really want to build this side of the business more so because I feel like I could have a greater reach and reach mental health clients, everyone. You can hear more about my coaching programs on heal.me/reignite. And I guess those are the best ways to get me right now.
Perfect. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
And Eloise, can you share a little bit more about what it is that you're doing and your why? Thank you.
Okay, so I have 2 parts to my why. The first one is that I feel like how I turned out as a young adult was meant, I was basically a product of the environment that kind of fed us all of this misinformation about how we should be, which seems a little bit left of field when it comes to the why, but it really it frustrated me to the point of anger that people were still trapped in that. Like, looking around now, there's a lot of people, young people. I mean, it's not so much in magazines now, but it's more like on TikTok and that kind of thing, where they've got these ideals that they have to reach for, and they've got these fad diets that people are trying to do. And what really frustrated me was just seeing people trapped in that, and I want to break that cycle. I think that's just so important, because if we're to actually move forward and, as Shannon says, get sustainable results, then we need to do things that are going to sustain us, that are going to nourish not just our bodies but our souls too. And the second part of my why is that I lost my niece in 2019 to a rare genetic disorder. She had absolutely no control over that whatsoever. And this just lit a fire under me, really, because there are so many people in the world that can actually have a degree of control, a lot of control over their health by what they put in their bodies, by how they use their bodies. And I just really want to help people wake up to that and appreciate their bodies for, the abilities that they have, the fact that they get to wake up each day and live this amazing life. And some people don't have that opportunity. And I think the more people that I can help to feel empowered, in their own health and bettering their health, then the more kind of I don't know, love I can kind of like put out in the world, as a kind of thank you to my niece really for touching my life the way that she did in the short time that she was here.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I'm sorry to hear about your niece, but I
Thank you.
love that, you know, one of the things that I shared once, I haven't really shared this very much publicly, but I'm going to share it right now. And it's interesting because I haven't shared it a lot, but I lost my sister when I was younger. So when I was 9, she was 11 and she passed away. And I didn't deal with it for a very long time. And then years later, when I was 24, it came up because it always comes up, right? It comes from somewhere deep within and it arrives again. And I had to face it. And then the one realization that I came to, well, the two actually was number one, um, at a very young age, I realized how precious life was and how important it was to live every day with so much joy and gratitude, really. But the second thing that I learned was it only took her 11 years to teach me the lessons that she needed to teach. And now she continues to teach me lessons, right? And I was speaking to someone about this the other day, and they said to me, not only does she continue to teach you, but by you sharing this message, it's going to teach others as well. And I was like, oh, that's so powerful, right? And it's so cool to think that. And when we shift our perspective and we recognize that, not even shift our perspective, but when we open up to the idea that that is possible, that every human on this earth has a purpose. We all know that. And we all have this, sometimes many purposes, but an ultimate purpose and teachings that we give to others, consciously or subconsciously. And then when we open ourselves up to giving those to others and then sharing them and then also receiving them, it's such a beautiful thing. And I'm not saying the passing of your niece is beautiful. That's not what I mean by that. What I mean by that is the idea that you're able to, see the lesson and the opportunity to be able to share that message. And I appreciate that you shared that message because I think it allows for people to be reminded sometimes of this gift that we have, which is our life.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yes. And I think that that's a very powerful why that will stay with you forever but also empower others in so many ways.
Yes.
Yeah. No, so I know so thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And now last thing I wanted to sort of end with is just asking each of you if you had to say one thing to someone watching right now who is maybe living in self-doubt or thinking, maybe this is my pathway, or maybe this is what I want to do, but they're not certain. What would you say to them? And so, Carmelita, I'll start with you.
If there is anyone out there who is trying to decide and you're uncertain and you're on the fence going back and forth, really the main thing that I would say is as you would listen, as you go deep within yourself, but even as you listen to us, our stories, and even other videos and information that Fit Chicks is putting out, really look and see, does it align with what you are trying to do and your goals of what you're trying to accomplish? And if you are a woman of faith, then, seek God and pray about that. Because I can attest that it is a very quality program. It has added to my life in ways that I never even would have thought I would be doing right now. But it's because of it, God was able to give me a vision for something completely different that I'm doing that I believe is having an impact. So I'm not going to just say, I really want to say, just go ahead and do it. But I don't feel like I have that power to say.
No, I love that. Thank you. And what about you, Shannon? What would you say to someone?
I definitely would say that if the reason that you're on a fence is because you're not sure if you have the capacity to coach, or you're not sure if you'll be good at coaching or whatever, just do it for yourself. Do it with the intention of, I know that I'm going to walk into this program and come out different because of what it's going to teach me about how to take care of my own body. And then I think that it will really give you, kind of like what Carmelita said, that'll kind of help you to identify what the vision is as well. It's like, because now I am being obedient to kind of the task of taking care of my temple and my body. And as I do that, it kind of guides you in the direction of, where you need to be going with your gifts or your talent or this class or this course, I mean. So yeah, you may not think that you're capable of doing this, but go ahead and step out on faith and just say, let me try it for me first and see how it impacts my life. Because I'm telling you, once you learn this stuff, it made me not even want to cook for my family the way I used to anymore. I won't buy some of the same things. I won't feed my kids the same things. I will not, because I looked at it like, oh my gosh, all these years I've been killing them. Like realistically, like that's what I've been doing and not doing it on purpose, just didn't know any better. And now I'm really careful about being judgmental when I go to other people's houses and I see what they feed their kids and different things like that. But it gives me an opportunity to present them with a little piece of knowledge that I might have gained from this program. So if you don't do it for coaching, do it because you love the people around you and you love yourself.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. And what about you, Eloise? What would you say to anyone?
I would say if you're hesitant, ask yourself, what is this hesitance really about? Because we can often present ourselves lots of rational reasons why not to do stuff, like, will I have enough time? Do I have enough money right now? That kind of thing. But what is that hesitance actually about? Because there's usually some kind of fear behind it. And if the fear behind it is possibly that you're not good enough to do it right now, then I would urge you to challenge that, because you are already good enough to do it. And I think it's really, really important that when that kind of thing comes up, that we go, yes, okay, thank you for bringing that to my attention. You're just trying to keep me safe. But actually, that's not what safety is. Safety is creating my own future. And if you feel that this is something that calls to you, then absolutely it is meant for you and you are good enough already as you are. So do it.
I love that. Oh, I love you all so much. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much just for sharing and just, being your authentic selves and just sharing your true, honest experiences, and your whys and everything. I'm getting very emotional right now. I'm about to cry. This happens to me a lot lately. I get very emotional because I get very touched by all of you. Like whenever I can hear the gifts that you're giving to the world, the things that you are doing in this world as graduates of the academy, it makes my heart just like completely want to explode, because I'm just so happy, because I know each of you are living very different paths, have started on a different pathway, are going in different pathways, but you are all like all making massive impact in your lives, in your family's life, in subconsciously helping other people that you don't even know you're helping them just by living the way that you're living, right? You're inspiring them, you're changing them, and they don't even know it. And then you have your clients directly that you're working with. And I just think it's like, one of our missions at Fitch's Academy was to be able to create this ripple effect around the world. Because when we were teaching our classes, we knew I was impacting the people that were in my class, but outside of that. So then we started our certifications so that we could empower other women to learn all the tools, the education, have all of the information to then share it in their families, in their communities, in their lives, and have this ripple effect that happens all over the world where people are just feeling more empowered with their health. And it's like a true 100% authentic. We always say we're trying to guide others to be heart-centered health coaches, and everyone that comes into our world is just that. And I can see it in all of you, and I can see it in all of the new students that come into our academy, and all of our graduates and people who aren't live with us right now. Like I see it, and I'm just so honored to be even just a small part of that journey with each and every single one of you. And I just from the bottom of my heart, I just say thank you so much. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your journey. Thank you for sharing your message today. Thank you for showing up, and thank you for being who you are and taking that step to step into who you are meant to be and who you are meant to lead, because each and every one of you are incredible. So thank you.
And thank you and
Thank you.
Laura for being obedient to the vision that you were given, because
Thank you.
it has impacted my life tremendously. And kind of pushing me into, the direction that I was supposed to go into as well, as far as this is concerned. So thank you as well. Don't
My
cry.
heart is just so full. I know my heart is just so full. I'm gonna cry. So on that note, I'm gonna sign off for today before I start to cry. But all of you, thank you so so much. everyone watching, everyone checking out the replay, thank you so much. We cannot wait to see you on the 24th of February for our live coach day, where Laura and I are going to be teaching you throughout the entire day all of our tools around holistic health coaching. We invite you, of course, to also join our holistic nutrition weight loss coaching certification that's starting on March 4th, if this is the pathway for you. And again, as I mentioned earlier, all of the contact details for Eloise, for Carmelita, and for Shannon will be in the comments below. So if you want to reach out to them, if you have questions, if you're interested in learning more about their coaching, about what it is that they're doing, feel free to reach out to them. It'll be in the comments below. Thank you all so, so much.
Bye,
All right,
everybody.
for Facebook, we are going to be signing off. So bye everyone in Facebook world.